At the engagement party with Connor, the city's heir, he showed up with Ashley, my nanny's daughter, to make a grand declaration of love and publicly humiliate me. I didn't indulge him, slapping him directly. Just as I was about to slap Ashley, Connor suddenly grabbed my wrist and pushed me to the ground. Connor, you! I glared at him furiously. Then, under the watchful eyes of spectators, a car suddenly crashed into the banquet hall. His rebellious stepbrother, Julian, who had just been in a fight, stepped out of the car, holding a baseball bat. He said to Connor, "You don't deserve her at all." Then he turned to me and said, "I'm here to back you up, Scarlett." The city's heir, Connor, still hadn't shown up for the engagement party. "Martha, it's almost half an hour, where is he?" I asked, my tone sharp. The engagement party was live-streamed, and Connor dared to be late. Martha kept smiling apologetically. "I've already told Robert to call and hurry him up. It's probably a traffic jam, Scarlett, don't worry. Who cares about his fate? What I cared about were business interests and our family reputation. Please excuse me, I'm going to the restroom." All right. Waiting around was already irritating, but then I heard people in the next stall discussing me. The city's heir, Connor, still hasn't arrived. He's probably still in some woman's bed. Scarlett has really humiliated herself this time. Is that so? Well, I can't wait to see Scarlett's show. Who told her to be so arrogant all the time? Connor's womanizing had nothing to do with me. But if someone used it to badmouth me, I couldn't pretend I hadn't heard. I'm arrogant because I have reasons to be arrogant. I abruptly pushed open the door. After stepping out, I immediately delivered 2 slaps that made my hand sting a little. The 2 women shrieked. Only one dared to retort, "How dare you hit me? Do you know who my father is?" I sneered, my slender fingers gripped her chin. "Just the daughter of some newly rich nouveau riche. I don't know how you snuck in here, but since you're here, why don't you seize the opportunity, use your body, and flirt with some wealthy heirs to boost your family's business? Why bother talking?" She struggled, "Let go of me." "Miss Scarlett, about that," I frowned, my gaze sharply flicking to Jessica. "Are you trying to interfere?" No. Miss Scarlett, I was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken out of turn. She was the daughter of my mother's subordinate. She understood me, and more importantly, the unspoken rules of high society. The people I dared to offend were those I could afford to offend. If there's a next time, I won't let you off so easily. Get out. Thank you, Miss Scarlett. They fled like startled animals. It was truly comical. After washing my hands, I received a text message from Julian. "Had a fight, will be late." He was Connor's stepbrother and my childhood friend. This kid used to be very well behaved. Since his mother passed away, his temperament changed completely, and he'd constantly be drinking, fighting, and getting into trouble with the law. I was used to it. But to be honest, compared to Connor, this illegitimate son who came into the family later, I'd rather marry Julian. It was a strategic alliance either way. It was just a pity he wasn't the heir. First, because Julian was born to Robert's first wife, and Robert had married into the family. After his first wife died, Robert immediately remarried after taking over the corporation. Not only did he bring home Connor, the illegitimate son he had secretly kept for over 20 years, but he also took out all his years of frustrations on Julian. Sometimes, I truly felt bad for him. We had similar backgrounds. My father also married into the family. However, it was my father who died early. My mother raised me as the heir, and my entire family doted on me, their only daughter. I was much luckier than him. Second, because Connor was cunning. While was in despair during his mother's mourning period, Connor managed to secure several multi-million-dollar projects with Robert and rallied the shareholders, gaining the family's trust. Coupled with Julian's frequent fights at the time, scandals were everywhere. Naturally, Robert changed the heir to Connor. As I was thinking, Emily suddenly called. "Miss Scarlett, it's not good. Half an hour ago, the project manager from Starling suddenly announced that they're signing a contract with Connor tomorrow." "What?" I instantly became furious. It was clearly agreed that after the engagement, the project would be a collaboration between the Song and Jeong families through the strategic alliance. How dare Connor pull this kind of stunt on me? Just then, someone knocked on the door and called out, "Miss Scarlett, Mr. Connor is here, but he brought a woman with him." When I arrived at the banquet hall, Connor was embracing the woman, negotiating with his parents. "Dad, Mom, Ashley, and I are truly in love." "Ashley? Wasn't that my nanny's daughter?" My mother recognized her too and sharply questioned her. "You impudent girl, how dare you ruin my daughter's engagement party?" "Mrs. Eleanor, I'm sorry, I didn't heed your warning. Ashley's eyes brimming with tears, choked out, but I can't betray my heart's choice. Robert pointed at Connor and roared, do you have any brains? You're not marrying the Jiang family's only daughter, but instead, you want to marry this poor girl from a humble background. Martha, while comforting Robert, tried to persuade Connor, stop this nonsense, apologize to your father right now, but was stubbornly determined, set on calling off the engagement. He even dared to publicly humiliate me. Scarlett is only suitable for a fling, not marriage. Ashley is considerate and sensible, although poor, she's poor but proud. After marriage, she'll surely be a good wife. Besides, Connor, don't need to resort to an arranged marriage to strengthen the corporation. Connor's implied meaning was, I was well matched in status and equally powerful with him, making me difficult to control after marriage. Ashley was different, she was naive, and a little kindness would make her loyal to him. Originally, I didn't care how many mistresses he kept. But he dared to elevate one by denigrating another, and it was me she was stepping on. Did he think Ashley was someone decent? Last time, when I hosted my birthday party at home, everyone else was dressed uniformly, serving guests, but she secretly wore my dress and flirted with wealthy young men in a corner. She preened herself, thinking I wouldn't notice. Actually, I just didn't want to ruin my own birthday party. Besides, I had thrown up on that dress when I was drunk, and the stains couldn't be washed out, so I was going to throw it away anyway. Who would have thought her methods had improved so much that she could hook Connor without me noticing? If Truly had pride, she wouldn't knowingly be a mistress. My shout instantly drew everyone's attention. Connor was the first to rush over. Scarlett, I warn you, apologize to Ashley immediately. I sneered, why are you so anxious? Did I hit a nerve? How dare you insult my mother, you, smack. Before he could finish, my palm landed firmly on his face. Shut up, you mere illegitimate son. Connor, like a raging lion, glared at me fiercely. Scarlett, I'll make you regret hitting me today. Unfazed, I lifted my chin. Bring it on. Ashley stared in shock, tenderly touching his face. Connor, are you all right? Miss Scarlett, how could you do this? It's my fault, I love Connor too much. If you're really angry, just hit me. Missed you, didn't I? Another piece of trash that doesn't belong. I raised my hand, ready to hit Ashley. Stop it. Connor suddenly grabbed my wrist and pushed me to the ground. Connor, you, under the watchful eyes of spectators, I struggled to get up. But behind me, a loud crash erupted. Boom. Amidst everyone's screams, an SUV directly crashed into the banquet hall. Glass rained down, shattered by the wheels. The car had its hazard lights on, heading straight for us, stopping precisely in front of Connor. I hadn't even reacted, but Ashley's screams nearly pierced my eardrums. Paralyzed with fear, she collapsed delicately into Connor's arms. Quite the spectacle. The car door opened, and a cool voice drifted out. A clean-cut young man stepped down. White shirt, bloodstain on his neck. He held a baseball bat. He said to Connor, Connor, you don't deserve her at all. In recent years, due to Julian's too much negative publicity, everyone knew he was the Song family's wild second young master. With just a glance from him, the reporters quickly turned off their cameras and left. Because he truly wasn't afraid of public opinion, not afraid of getting arrested, he would smash their cameras, and go after each reporter individually. Go, 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 hurry. Don't get involved with this madman. Guests also left quickly. Sorry, I'm late. Julian extended a bony, well-defined hand to me. I curled my lips into a smile. Good boy. He leaned down and kissed the back of my hand. It's my honor. Following that, Julian dragged the baseball bat, stepping closer and closer to Connor, his face growing colder. My sister is in a bad mood, I'll do something to cheer her up. With that, he suddenly swung it. Connor was no pushover, he dodged sideways with extreme speed. The baseball bat struck downwards, and the tower of champagne glasses behind him crashed down. Clink, clink, clink. Shards rained down on him, champagne splashed everywhere. Ashley started crying from fear. Connor, I'm so scared. Connor held her tightly. Don't be afraid, I'll protect you. Julian gave a scornful smile. To earn money, just use your body, keep your mouth shut. The sound made her shrink further into Connor's arms. She whimpered, Connor. Connor clenched his fists, veins throbbing on his forehead. Julian, if you still want to return to the family's good graces, apologize to Ashley immediately. The family? Julian frowned, wiping the champagne that had splashed on him. I think you and your mother have been living off my family for so long, you've forgotten your humble origins. With that, he deliberately threw a handkerchief at Robert's feet, a look of utter disgust on his face. Dad, have you even forgotten who helped you get to this position? Everyone in the city's elite circles knew Robert had married into the family. Mentioning this made his face turn ashen. Coupled with the previous farce, he couldn't take it anymore. His chest tightened with anger. Connor and his mother panicked, quickly looked for his medication and helped him to the sofa. Julian! Connor roared at him. Are you trying to kill Dad with anger? Julian impatiently rubbed the back of his neck. Don't act like a filial son, like a dog, in front of me. You! Martha suddenly interrupted, softly and weakly saying to Julian, Julian, I know you dislike me, and you dislike Connor, but Connor joining the company is also to help your father. And I, as an aunt, wanted to take care of you, to make up for the loss of your mother. Martha was playing the victim, but her words were actually meant for Robert. Of all the things she shouldn't have done, mentioning Julian's mother was the worst. Shut up. You're not even worth a single strand of my mother's hair. How dare you even mention her name? He exploded in rage, throwing the baseball bat towards Martha. It crashed heavily to the ground. The huge sound made Martha collapse in fear. Julian, you went too far. Today, I'm going to teach you a good lesson, you brat. Connor swung his fist, about to rush over. My heart tightened. I was about to go pull Julian away when the police arrived at that moment. Someone had called the police, and they came to take statements. I lied, saying, breaking my own things in my own hotel. Is that really illegal? He didn't hurt any. One, and the things he smashed belonged to my family's hotel. So if I don't press charges, the case will be closed, right? After the police confirmed it repeatedly, they left as I had said. Connor, however, secretly threatened me. You just wait. All right, I said, giving Ashley a cold glance. Tell her to be careful too. She hurriedly hid behind him. The atmosphere turned icy. Martha tried to smooth things over, with a plastered smile on her face. Well, Scarlett, let's hold an even grander engagement party another day, okay? Don't worry, I'll definitely convince Connor. But didn't appreciate his mother's efforts and directly sabotaged her. Mom, I love Ashley. Brat. Robert, who had just started to recover, jumped right off the sofa in anger, almost slapping him, but Martha stopped him. The blame shifted to her again. Robert blamed her. All day long you're just partying and gambling, either shopping in Miami or gambling in Las, but you just can't control this son of yours. I knew very well that his father was so eager for a strategic alliance because Song's reputation was suffering recently, and its stock was falling. They desperately needed the Jiang family's help. Our family also wanted to take this opportunity to expand into Song's subsidiaries. So, this engagement wasn't just up to us two, it concerned the interests of two major families. Connor wanting to marry Ashley would mean paying a huge price. I just waited to see if he could give up everything for Ashley. My mother returned to the company, and I led Julian to the car. As soon as I sat down, I couldn't help but reach out and touch his neck. I had noticed the blood earlier but couldn't find the right moment to ask. Does it hurt? Julian shook his head, rather proudly. It was someone else's blood that splashed on me. I rolled my eyes, giving him a hard slap on the back of his head. Brat, how long do you plan to keep this up? Ouch. Julian started to feign hurt again. How could Scarlett hit him? I even paid $3 million. Who cares about that money? I hit you because you're not sensible. His face darkened. What does sensible mean? Like, who you like? His tone was laced with jealousy. I was stunned. Where did you get the idea that I liked Connor? He paused. If you don't like Connor, then why insist on getting engaged to him? You could have chosen me for the alliance. You? I gave him a dismissive look, picking up my tablet to check the stock market. You're not even the heir. Why would I choose you? I deliberately provoked him. As expected, he got angry, snatching the tablet from my hand and suddenly leaning closer. Then what if? He swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing. His deep eyes gazed at me, overflowing with affection. I was the heir? He took the bait. My lips curved into a smile, and my slender finger lightly hooked his chin. I would steadfastly choose you, but Julian, I paused, then deliberately leaned my lips close to his ear. Can you do it? A cold hand suddenly grasped the back of my neck, a little forcefully. Want to try? Scarlett. The end of his sentence rose with a hint of a smile, as seductive as a fox. I knew Julian too well. He was extremely competitive about people and things he was interested in. As long as he was no longer wallowing in despair and was determined to fight for the inheritance, I would help him. After all, what our Jiang family needed wasn't just a powerful son-in-law, but one who was also obedient. All right, let's try it. The first thing I did after returning home was to fire Ashley's mother. James, go pack their bags. Yes, Miss Scarlett. Carol, however, wanted to argue reasonably with me. Miss Scarlett, I didn't do anything wrong, why are you firing me? I sat tiredly on the sofa, propping my head with one hand, giving her a cold glance. Your daughter ruined my engagement party, and you, as her mother, still have the nerve to stay in my house? Could it be that both you and your daughter and to hook a rich man? What? Carol was greatly alarmed, as if she didn't know about it. Miss Scarlett, you're being too harsh. Ashley rushed in, I didn't know when. She pulled her mother behind her and loudly reprimanded me. Take out your anger on me, what does it have to do with my mother? She's innocent. Innocent? I frowned, about to scold her, but then I saw Connor walk in. Ashley, don't waste your breath on someone like her. Come with me, I'll make arrangements for you and your mother. As soon as he finished speaking, Ashley's expression suddenly turned aggrieved. No, 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 it's not necessary. That's just her temper, I'm used to it, it's really fine. Ashley bit her lower lip, eyes glistening with tears, the perfect green tea bitch act. Miss Scarlett, I'm sorry, please don't blame my mother. Her knee slowly bent, and she was about to kneel down. Connor pulled her up, tenderly stroking her head. Why are you apologizing? It's not your fault. I was truly sick of this clown show. One is despicable, the other is blind. Get out, both of you. Too bothered to say anything more, I simply went upstairs. I happened to run into James, who had finished packing the bags, at the staircase landing. Miss Scarlett, they're ready. I shut them disdainfully. The 2 suitcases rolled down from the 2nd floor. When they landed at Connor's feet, assorted items spilled out. Scarlett. Connor glared at me furiously, his fingers clenched into fists. I won't let you off the hook. I gave a scornful smile. All right, I'll be waiting. Now, take your trash and get out. I knew Connor prides himself as the heir, he would never stoop so low. Saying that was just to disgust him. But I didn't expect Ashley to be such a good actress. She wiped her tears and bent down to pick up her clothes. Connor, don't blame Miss Scarlett. I can do it myself. She thought this would show her defiance, making Connor pity her more. But she didn't understand our circle, and she certainly didn't understand Connor. Connor was an illegitimate son, already subjected to much criticism. Now that he had power, he hated bowing down to others the most. Get up. He pulled Ashley up and scolded her angrily. Who told you to pick them up? Don't I have money to buy you clothes? Ashley was too scared to speak. But I had no patience. James, throw them all out. And get rid of that trash quickly, it's an eyesore. With that, I turned to leave. Carol shouted to stop me. Wait, you haven't paid me this month's salary. Salary, huh? I suddenly got interested. All right, James, compensate her as per the contract. Carol let out a sigh of relief, and the 3 of them prepared to leave. But I remember, you broke the antique vase my mother bought last month, didn't you? I walked down, my high heels clicking crisply on the steps. My mother was generous and didn't ask you for compensation. I originally didn't care, but since you insist on settling accounts today, let's settle them properly. My heel stepped on the pile of clothes. I looked coldly at the shocked Carol. The vase was worth $5 million. I'll have James prepare the evidence, bills, and my bank account number. If the money isn't in my account within 3 days, I'll take legal action. What? Carol instantly panicked. At a loss, she turned and knelt before Connor. Mr. Connor, please help me. Where am I supposed to find $5 million? Mom, don't rush, don't do this. Martha, please get up. Connor tried to help her, but she desperately shook her head, her messy hair mingling with tears, sticking to her face. I won't get up until you agree. She was engaging in emotional blackmail. It's just $5 million, I'll handle it. Connor got impatient. Ashley, take your mother to the car first, I need to talk to Scarlett. What? Ashley's first reaction was jealousy and dissatisfaction. Then promise me you won't have anything to do with her, only talk about business, and leave right aft. Ashley seemed to be getting too big for her britches, no longer understanding her place. Did she think Connor would be a CEO in a novel who's blinded by love, and she the lucky Cinderella, and he would always be obedient and endlessly doting towards her? However, I saw a flicker of displeasure cross Connor's brows. But soon, he resumed his gentle expression. I understand. Clearly, the current Connor was not used to being ordered around. He wanted to be the absolute dominator, even towards Ashley. I wondered how long this impulsive love between mismatched social statuses would last. After the mother and daughter left, Connor questioned me. Scarlett, What exactly do you want? I pretended not to understand, crossed my arms, looking at him disdainfully. Paying debts is only natural, isn't it? I know you're not doing this for the 5 million. Connor frowned. Scaring's mother on purpose, just to spite me? It seemed he wasn't stupid, just blind. It's worth 5 million to watch a monkey show. Connor, however, curled his lips into a mocking smile. Alright, go ahead and play your worthless tricks. I won't succumb to marrying you because of this. I nodded, but my peripheral vision accidentally caught a familiar figure at the door. It seemed to be Ashley. Was she spying? That would be interesting. Don't worry, I definitely won't marry you. With that, I deliberately grabbed his collar, forcefully pulled him close, and then leaned close to his ear. But I refused to call off the engagement. I'll drag you out. If you have the guts, go home and throw a fit. I'd love to see what methods you'll use to make your parents compromise. As I finished speaking, I deliberately glanced in the direction Ashley was spying from. Scarlett, what are you two doing? Ashley suddenly rushed in, interrupting Connor. When insecurity surged, she forgot her own place. Connor, what did you just promise me? Why are you standing so close to her? And you, Scarlett, have you no shame? Trying to seduce my boyfriend when I'm not around, you. I deliberately didn't refute, letting her continue to make a scene. Finally, Connor felt embarrassed himself and snarled, Enough, stop it. Ashley trembled, tears instantly welled up in her eyes. Connor, you never used to yell at me before, now why? Before she could finish, Connor's phone rang. After he picked it up, he didn't know what the other party said, and his face darkened. What did you do? Why did Julian get involved in the Starling project? Did you instigate him? I smiled without speaking. Connor didn't bother to comfort Ashley, but pulled her away in a fit of rage. As they left, I gave James a look. Not long after, a stack of paparazzi photos appeared before my eyes, enough to be a headline-worthy scandal. I immediately sent them to Emily. The title should be, The City's Heir Brings His Mistress to His Fiancé's Home, Suspected of Attempting a Coup. Tell reporters and marketing accounts to work overtime, double their bonus. Emily replied, All right, Miss Scarlett. That evening, I received a call from Julian, inviting me to dinner. Halfway there, I passed by the luxury shoe store I frequented. I had just received a text message from the store manager saying new arrivals had come in, so I decided to check them out. I was led to the VIP room and sat down to check the stock market. The store manager knelt by my feet, helping me change shoes. Miss Scarlett, how are they? I looked down, about to speak, when the door suddenly opened. The person who came in was actually Ashley. She was wearing cheap clothes, still clutching the card Connor gave her. The salesperson behind her carried a pile of designer shoes. I looked her up and down, a scornful curve on my lips. Looks like you raked in some money. Scarlett, what do you mean? Connor wasn't here, so Ashley dropped her act and rushed over, yelling, Apologize to me. I didn't even glance at her, but instructed the top salesperson, Wrap up this pair I'm trying on, and the new arrivals I just looked at. With that, I stood up, about to leave. But the salesperson behind Ashley picked up one of the shoes and said meekly, I'm sorry, Miss Scarlett, I accidentally picked up the wrong pair, the one you liked. So what? Ashley arrogantly snatched it. No need to try this one, I'll take it now, charge it to my boyfriend's card. I frowned. I spend so much money here every year, and this is how you treat me? The store manager was a little flustered, but still calmly apologized to me first, then explained to Ashley, Usually, when new items arrive in our store, Miss Scarlett gets to choose first. This time, the new sales associate was negligent, and we're very sorry, but we cannot sell you this pair of shoes. Why not? I have money too. Ashley angrily threw Connor's card at the store manager's face. The store manager still smiled apologetically. We don't deny your spending power, but even if Mr. Connor himself came, we'd still prioritize Miss Scarlett. Besides, you're just Mr. Connors. She stopped abruptly, but the implied meaning was clear. Satisfied, I took out my card and handed it to the store manager. As I walked past Ashley, I deliberately glanced at her. Even if you want to make money within your means. Don't overestimate yourself. Scarlett, don't be angry. I patted her on the shoulder, saying mockingly, Go complain to Connor. Scarlett, don't be so arrogant, I will definitely marry into the Song family. I smiled without speaking, then left. After arriving at the hotel, I found that Mr. David from Starling and his mother were also there. What surprised me even more was that Margaret and Julian's mother were old acquaintances. She held Julian's hand, her eyes tear-filled. The son of an old friend, indeed possesses the demeanor of his late mother. Your mother has been gone for so long. I really miss her. Mr. David handed her tissues worriedly. Mom, the doctor said your Yes aren't good, you shouldn't cry so much. I'm happy, Julian said, taking the tissues. Mr. David, I'll take care of your mother. Yes, aren't you and Scarlett supposed to discuss business? Go talk business, don't disturb our reunion. I realized that Margaret was helping me. Julian was also creating an opportunity for me to talk to Mr. David again. I seized the opportunity to speak. By the way, regarding Connor, I actually have some inside information I'd like to discuss with Mr. David, which might be very relevant to Starling's upcoming project. How about we go to the private room next door to talk? Mr. David chuckled, an expression that seemed to see through everything. However, he also seemed curious to see what other tricks I had up my sleeve. I knew deeply that business partnerships rely not just on connections, but more importantly, on profit. Mr. David, I presume you've heard the news of the failed engagement with the Song family? Mr. David nodded, but seemed unconcerned. Actually, even without Connor or the Jiang family's help, it wouldn't have a big impact. What I value is Connor's talent. But he's too young and impulsive, I said, taking out my phone and showing him the scandal. He's insisting on a marriage his family disagrees with. A marriage between mismatched social statuses will surely lead to endless arguments and conflicts in the future. In a family business, these things will definitely affect the corporation's image and profits. Mr. David, are you sure you want to take this risk? Besides, he's not the only talented one. Mr. David's expression gradually turned serious. Suddenly, his phone rang. I glanced at it, it was Connor. After the call, he still chose Connor, giving the reason, men understand how to do business better than women. I laughed out of anger. The moment I opened the door, Julian's cold face instantly appeared before my eyes. He was standing there, his gaze dark and menacing. Even I was a little scared, afraid he'd start a fight right here. Mr. David, however, said disdainfully, what, when the connections card didn't work, did you resort to threats? Julian instantly forced a fake smile. Mr. David, you're joking. Margaret wasn't feeling well, I've already put her in the car. Just wanted to let you know. Take care. Thank you then. Mr. David left unhappily. As soon as the door closed, Julian's face turned cold, his eyes filled with a dangerous glint. Ungrateful fool. He immediately took out his phone, sending a message to someone. You're not going to do anything illegal, are you? Julian, don't mess around. I was a little worried, so I directly reached out and snatched the phone. The contract isn't as important as you are. He looked down and smiled. This was a joyful, heartfelt smile. Scarlett, care about me? I replied quickly, of course. But he misunderstood. When his gaze fell on my lips, he swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing with a hint of desire. Is that so? He slowly approached me, the scent of cold wood wafting from him. What kind of care? Our friendship, of course. He stepped closer and closer. When I had nowhere left to retreat, he suddenly pinned me against the wall. Scarlett, I don't want your friendship. Julian's one hand grasped my neck, while the other protected the back of my head. When he kissed me, it was both gentle and rough. The moment my phone slipped from my grasp, I too succumbed. But he stopped halfway. That's enough for now, for today. Julian reluctantly released me, then bent down to pick up his phone. I have something to take care of, I'll find you later. I snapped back to reality, quickly pulled him back. Julian, don't do anything illegal. He curled his lips into a smile. I don't need to break the law to utterly ruin him. Although tonight's conversation wasn't successful, I wasn't sad at all. Because a company that discriminates against women has no future. I might as well give it to Connor. I would prove with my ability. Yes, that I can manage the corporation. After returning home, my mother was looking at documents. My daughter's back. As soon as she saw me, her face lit up with a smile. She pulled me over to sit and handed me the documents. I've already heard about the Starling project. It's okay if it didn't work out. There's a new project here, in the Maplewood zone. I hear the government is planning to develop it. The government? That's a huge project. I embraced my mother with surprise and joy. Thanks, Mom. Thank me for what? You're my daughter, of course I'll help you. My mother gently stroked my back. Mom is going to Laos for a business trip tomorrow. She might be back in half a month or so. You'll be solely responsible for this project. Mom also wants to see if the heir she's been training for over a decade is qualified. Don't worry, I definitely won't disappoint you this time. My daughter has never disappointed me. My mother confidently handed all the documents to me and then left to catch her flight. In the early morning, I was still looking at the proposal when I received a call from Julian. still awake? Julian's playful voice came from the other end of the phone. I'm downstairs at your place, ready to take you to see a good show. Interested? I knew Julian. At this critical moment, him looking for me in the middle of the night definitely wasn't for a date or a movie. I guessed, is it related to Mr. David? Smart, Julian said with a laugh. The original wife beating up the mistress is quite a juicy drama, no less dramatic than your suspected coup, but paparazzi reports are never as entertaining as seeing it live. I put down the pen in my hand in surprise. Mr. David kept his mistress so discreetly, and you still managed to find her? Even though my mother passed away, don't underestimate her connections while she was alive. I suddenly realized that I had truly underestimated Julian's mother. I thought that after she died, and the corporation fell into Robert's hands, Julian would have nothing left. In fact, he just hadn't made his move yet. In the passenger seat, I couldn't help but ask him, when changed the air, why didn't you fight Connor? His face clouded over, and his eyes dimmed. He silently turned the steering wheel a few times, passing several traffic lights. After a long while, he said in a low voice, I can take back the company, but I couldn't delay my mother's funeral. Yes, I almost forgot. Back then, Robert was busy finding lawyers and inheriting assets. Connor and his mother were busy usurping power, and only Julian was observing mourning. At the funeral, he cried to the point of fainting several times. I was speechless, unsure how to comfort him. When the car stopped, I could only hug him. Julian, it's all in the past. I'll help you take back everything that belongs to the Ming family. I'll also help you become the true heir. When we arrived at Mr. David's secret villa, it was already swarming with paparazzi. Julian led me to the rooftop of the building opposite, pulling out binoculars to watch, and thoughtfully had red wine prepared. Aren't you afraid of offending Margaret by doing this? He raised his glass and clinked it with mine, making a crisp sound. Besides you, I don't care about anyone else's feelings. Just then, I saw Mr. David dragging his first wife out, only to be blocked by paparazzi. Julian called him at that moment and put it on speaker for me to hear. Mr. David, do you like the gift I sent you? What? You did this? I added nonchalantly, look up. The people below indeed looked up, their eyes meeting mine. I deliberately raised my wine glass, a challenging look on my face. Cheers. Have a good night. Julian finished his mocking, then downed the red wine in one gulp. As David yelled like a mad dog, Julian and I had already left. It was exhilarating tonight. The next day, scandals were everywhere about Connor and Mr. David. However, what really brought down our David wasn't a minor affair like infidelity, but the tax evasion issues exposed through his mistress. This even affected Connor's collaborative project, causing all of Song's initial investment to go down the drain. Shareholders who lost money would certainly lose confidence in Connor. Coincidentally, at this time I established my public image with several charity events and successfully negotiated the Maplewood Zone project. Now, it was time for Julian to make his move. I'll handle the shares acquisition. As for the rest, you manage it yourself. I spoke casually, drawing my eyebrows in the mirror. You'll acquire them? Julian chuckled, then suddenly snatched the eyebrow pencil from my hand. You truly are the Jiang family's heir, even plotting against me. His words were aggressive, but his gaze towards me remained gentle. His long, fair hand hooked my chin. Are you trying to use this opportunity to swallow up the song as well? Julian was questioning me, yet still leaning in to draw my eyebrows. I suddenly wanted to tease him, deliberately not telling him the truth, and casually placed both hands on his shoulders. The posture was extremely intimate. More than that? I want to swallow you too. He paused, his gaze falling to my lips. Serious? Want to try? Before I could finish, Julian suddenly hooked my waist, lifted me abruptly, and placed me on the dressing table. My back against the mirror, cosmetics scattered everywhere. Although I don't know your objective, if shares are what you want, Scarlett, I'll give them to you. Because it's you, I'm willing to be awake as I fall. Julian's cold hand clasped my neck, kissing my lips, both indulgent and restrained. During our intimate moment, I finally told him the truth. I'll cooperate with you on the Maplewood Zone project, allowing you to use this achievement to enter Song's board of directors and replace Connor. As for the shares, they are my guarantee. After all, I negotiated the Maplewood project. I can't let you benefit for free. It's true that I liked Julian and was willing to help him, but it couldn't be unconditional. I couldn't let the Jiang be his stepping stone, nor could I exchange it for vague, worthless emotions. It wasn't that I didn't trust him, I just couldn't afford to lose. Because my last name is Jiang, and I am the heir of Jiang. The next day, we proceeded as planned. Before the board meeting began, I specifically instructed Emily to issue a statement annulling the engagement. Afterward, as one of the major shareholders, I proposed removing Connor from his position at the meeting. Julian seized the opportunity to present the Maplewood Zone project. This was the biggest piece of meat in business, capable of not only making up for previous losses in Starling but also generating a huge profit. Shareholders are also businessmen. There was no reason for them not to want it. Ultimately, the proposal passed with more than half the votes, and even though Robert was the chairman, he was helpless. "Scarlett, how dare you do this to me?" Connor's fingers clenched into tight fists, his eyes looking as if he wanted to devour me. I smiled faintly. "Use everything you have to exchange for Ashley. I wish you happiness." After the meeting, I received a call from my mother. She said, "I saw Connor's mother at the Lost Casino. She seemed to have lost terribly." "Really?" I was a little surprised. "How much did she lose?" 100 million. After hanging up, I told Julian what happened. He gave a cold laugh. "Now, we can completely crush Connor and my father." "Scarlett." Suddenly, Connor's roar came from behind me. I thought he was coming to settle accounts with me, but to my surprise, he was cowardly this time, gripping my hand tightly. "Scarlett, I was wrong. Let's get engaged. I'll break up with Ashley. Please, give me back my CEO position. I've waited over 20 years, endured over 20 years, all for this day. You can't do this to me." He was panicked and helpless, almost in tears. But before I could even mock him, Ashley appeared out of nowhere and pulled Connor away. "Connor, you're crazy. You clearly said you loved me, that you would marry me. How could you?" "Shut up." Connor roughly pushed her away, like a raging lion. "It's all your fault. If you hadn't seduced me, why would I have broken off the engagement? After being with you, you've been useless, only asking me for money. And your mother, she only brings me shame. Money is truly a wonderful thing. It exposes human nature completely. Julian, I suddenly want to see what happens when he finds out his mother owes 100 million in loss. I'm also curious whether the bond between mother and son would be so fragile in the face of money." Fortunately, the situation unfolded quickly. That night, the creditors came to the door with Martha, holding a debt note for 100 million. In the past, Connor could still afford it. But now, he wasn't CEO anymore, and Robert's chairman position didn't hold much power. He couldn't embezzle public funds, could he? The only one left in the Song family who could truly make decisions was Julian. He paid 100 million to reclaim everything. When had nothing left, Julian directly had someone pack the bags of the three of them. Then, he threw them down from the second floor. "Take this trash and get out of my house." Robert was incredulous. "Julian, I'm your biological father. You've already taken the company, and now you can't even spare a home for me?" He impatiently turned his head away, rubbing the back of his neck. Julian, am not a filial son. Playing the emotional card with me won't work." He wrapped his arm around my waist, then turned to leave. But I suddenly heard Connor's shouts. "Scarlett, I was really wrong. I've already broken up with Ashley. Can you please give me another chance?" I found it disgusting. "Connor, I think you're mistaken about one thing. My engagement to you was never because I liked you, but because you were the heir of the Song family. I, Scarlett, am not here to do charity. I only choose marriages between well-matched families." Connor broke down. I had James throw them all out. Then that evening, I took Julian to the airport to pick up my mother. My mother, upon learning what had recently happened, looked at me with new respect. "You truly are my daughter. You even accomplished what Mom said jokingly." Of course. After returning home, I unexpectedly ran into Ashley and her mother. Abandoned by Connor, she had no job, no income, and was living in destitution. Now, the mother and daughter knelt before me again, crying with snot and tears. "Miss Scarlett, please rehire me. Please take us in." "Mrs. Eleanor, it was my fault. I shouldn't have stolen Miss Scarlett's fiancé." They seemed sincere. But I knew Ashley wanted to stay here and continue looking for her next target. Before I could speak, my mother instructed the bodyguards, "Throw them out so my daughter doesn't have to see them and be uncomfortable." "Yes, Mrs. Eleanor." But suddenly knelt at Julian's feet, clutching his sleeve, tears streaming down her face. "Mr. Julian, please help me. I truly know I was wrong." She looked up, gazed at Julian with tear-filled eyes, biting her lower lip. Was that intentional? Fortunately, Julian wasn't Connor. He wasn't fooled by her act, even found it disgusting, and kicked her away. "You've propositioned the wrong person. Get out." The bodyguards dragged them out directly. During dinner, Julian proposed to my mother, "I want to marry Scarlett." My mother smiled with satisfaction. Of course I have no problem, it depends on Scarlett's wishes. I was willing, but I also had my own considerations. Marriage is fine, but in business, let's not be involved with each other. Julian smiled, helpless and doting. Mrs. Eleanor has truly raised a qualified heir. Of course. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.